welcome to my 26 Hey guys, and welcome to my 26 week pregnancy update. I don't know why that's so hard to say. And welcome to my 26-week pregnancy update. I don't know why saying 26 is so difficult for me, but I've had to say that sentence so many times. So I feel like this particular point in my pregnancy is probably my favorite so far because it feels like a really special time. That's down to two reasons. So the first reason is what I like to call tummy games. And that's really weird. But basically my little boy, his movements are very strong now and very regular. And he presses around on my belly quite a lot. And, I can tell, where his shoulders are, different things like that. And, like his little feet and his arms and different things. And we've started playing a little game with it. So I'll push like really lightly on a particular part of my belly. And he'll react to that and he'll, press his foot or palms against my belly and he'll move according to my little, touches as well. So it's really fun. I feel like we're connecting a lot more than we have on a more like personal level rather than just emotionally, which is really lovely and I'm really enjoying that. I just feel very privileged to experience that. And because of that connection that we've got going on now, I'm even more excited to like meet him and get to know his little personality, and I think he's gonna be a lot of fun. So the second thing that's also making this particular part in my pregnancy really special is the fact that I only have 14 weeks to go until my due date. And I'm sure people out there are like, oh, 14 weeks is such a long time. But really it's not. I understand it's longer than a uni semester, which I feel is actually more difficult than pregnancy. I would not like to be back there. It's more like, okay, things are setting in now and I realize I have lots of little things that I want to do for baby before he arrives and for myself as well. And I feel like time is really ticking down. And so in my next update, my next update is 28 weeks, which is the start of a third trimester. So I'm really moving into that last phase of my pregnancy, and it's made me just, I don't know, full of energy and full of love, and I'm just really ready for him to be here. And just the fact that, once you hit that third trimester mark, like 12 weeks to your due date, it's more tangible now that things are going to start happening, and everyone's getting really excited to meet him, and I'm just really excited to start that next chapter in my pregnancy and in my life. So feeling all warm and fuzzy. There's a couple of little topics that I want to cover in my video today. Obviously I'll be touching on baby and his growth and development. The next is going to be talking about my obstetrician appointment that I had today. And with respect to that, I'm also going to be touching on my glucose test and its results that I did on, when did I do that? Saturday. So I did them this Saturday and I got my results today, so I'll be talking about that. I'll also be talking about, my general symptoms. If my video doesn't go too long, I'll also talk about a couple of things that I've purchased. Otherwise, I might do it in a separate video as more of a haul that you guys can see, because there's quite a few things, and actually I will do that. So stay tuned for a video about a baby nursery item, baby needs video haul thing. I'll think of a name later. So the last thing I will finish on is just things that I'm excited for. So if you don't know, I actually have a blog, and in there I do like pregnancy Q&As, and I also post my bump shots. And they're really fun questions and I really enjoy writing them, so definitely check them out as well. So the other thing that I normally include on some of those pregnancy Q&A questions is things that I'm excited for in the next week or up until I'm doing my next video. So I'm going to include some what I'm excited for things in this video. So according to my what to expect when you're expecting book, baby is weighing roughly on average around 900 grams. But according to my baby center thing, forum, website app thing that I have, he's weighing apparently 750 grams. So who really knows? But according to Baby Center as well, the average length of a baby at 26 weeks is about 35 centimeters, and that's measured from his head to his heel. So part of baby's development this week is that he is able to open and close his little eyelids. And with that, of course, comes a heightened sense of sight. And I definitely think that's the case because when I go outside and I'm exposing my belly to the sun and tanning, sort of, he will definitely move around a lot. So I feel like he's very sensitive to light and darkness as well. Of course, his hearing continues to improve, and I do find that with a loud noise or someone talking or having a conversation, he will move. So like if my partner's talking to my belly, he will react. As already mentioned, his movements are a lot stronger, and I definitely think he's gaining muscle and he's building those little like coordination skills, and so I'm definitely noticing a lot more bigger, forceful movements and rolls, and I'm, he's getting around. So today I had my obstetrician appointment, and of course it went really well, but I admit I was actually a bit nervous going into this appointment because I did do my glucose test and I've been very anxious about my weight gain of late. So I'll start with my weight gain. So basically in my last few appointments, I've kind of gained a lot of weight within sort of 4 to 6 week periods. And that's quite scary. And I think it's quite intimidating for people who are pregnant in general. Like, you're not used to putting on a lot of weight really quickly and in short amount of time. And well, at least that's definitely the case for me. So I'm not avoiding weight gain. I'm exercising and eating healthy and all of that, but of course with pregnancy comes weight gain. And I've been gaining weight definitely very steadily. And I want to say that I usually gain between the last couple of appointments that I've had and weighed in, I probably gained on average at each appointment between 700 grams to over a kilo. And maybe there's people out there going, oh girl, that's nothing, no need to worry about that. For me it's a big deal, and I think I'm entitled to be a bit nervous about it. So I thought if I can weigh in from my last appointment at just gaining a kilo, I'll be really happy. I didn't really want to gain more than a kilo. Like, I was honestly terrified. But you're at the stage now in your pregnancy where baby's also putting on weight, and even though he's putting on weight, you're probably putting on weight twice as much as he is. So I was nervous, to say the least. Anyway, today I only put on 400 grams. So I've averaged it out in my brain that it's 100 grams a week in the last 4 weeks since my last weigh-in, and I'm pretty happy with that. So I walked out of that appointment extremely pleased with myself. So as part of every appointment, I get my blood pressure checked, and of course it was low again, but I've always had low blood pressure since before even being pregnant, so I wasn't really expecting anything else. I'm very happy that it's not high blood pressure, but I do think it's my low blood pressure that is keeping my fatigue around, and also although it's gotten better, I also think that sometimes some of my dizziness will also come from my low blood pressure as well. So part of the puzzle, I guess. Is that what you say? It is what it is. So as mentioned in my last appointment, the new thing that we do is also measure my uterus. So the fundus measurement, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And that's from the pelvis to the top of your uterus, and each week you should be corresponding to in centimeters to the amount of weeks that you are pregnant. And I was quite curious to see what I would measure at this week, because last appointment I measured completely on track at 22 centimeters. And this time at my 26-week appointment, I measured at 26 centimeters. So he is right on target and growing perfectly. The biggest thing by far that made me a bit nervous this week at my appointment was doing my glucose test, which I did on Saturday. I didn't go into doing the test thinking that I have gestational diabetes, but I was very aware that You could be the healthiest person, have no, previous history of insulin issues or family issues, or anyone else in your family having gestational diabetes. You might be skinny as a stick, and you can just simply end up with it, and that's the reality of it, and that's why testing is so important. So my dad and my grandma both have diabetes, and I have PCOS. So having PCOS does increase actually your chance of getting gestational diabetes, because it does affect your hormone levels, and it's just one of the things that you just got to accept if you get it. Went into this test a little bit nervous because of the PCOS issue. The other thing that made me nervous about doing the test is that when I did take the liquid glucose drink, I got really sick with it. So I was extremely nauseous, was going to faint. And that's not from needles. I have no problem getting needles, although it's really difficult for me to give blood. I just have bad veins. The fact that didn't necessarily go to plan, with how I was feeling, and it could have been because you have to fast as well with doing the test, and the fact that my morning sickness has made a return, it could have just thrown me off. It could have been a whole combination, but the fact that I did get sick made me think like, oh my God, do I have gestational diabetes? So I'm a personal trainer, and I focus on nutrition and dietetics as well. That is my qualification. And I can talk about glucose tests and diabetes and insulin like no tomorrow. So what I'm planning to do is actually film a completely separate video where I go into the process, what diabetes is, what insulin is, what glycogen is, and all of those sort of things, and how to treat and manage your diabetes if you are diagnosed with it. Even if you're not, definitely stick around and watch the video that I'm going to be doing later this week about it, because it does focus on healthy eating and exercise and as the way to manage it. Also, I'm going to be focusing on what gestational diabetes is as well, and its effects for your baby. So I would stick around and definitely keep an eye out for that video. The best way to keep an eye out for that video is actually to subscribe to my channel so you get a notification when that video is uploaded. And that way you can watch it, and maybe you'll learn something from it, and maybe you'll be able to teach me something about it. So stick around for that. Anyways, very happy when that test ended, because I went home and I slept because I felt nasty. I felt so sick and terrible. Knowing that I had that reaction to the glucose test, I was very hesitant to find out my results today, because I thought, oh, that's for sure a bad sign. However, I got my results and I passed with flying colours. It was great. So thumbs up for me and thumbs up for baby. In addition to doing that test as well, she also recommended that I get my iron levels tested. Iron and ferritin levels are tested. They came back really good. I'm not low in iron, and my ferritin stores, which is your iron stores, were also looking really good, so I don't need to be on iron supplements at this stage. However, later in your pregnancy, it is quite common to suffer from low iron levels or be iron deficient. So I will need to be doing another blood test closer to being full term to determine whether I do need to go on supplements at that stage. But so far, I'm looking really good. Also, some of my symptoms I've been experiencing lately, well, these ones have continued, basically heartburn, indigestion, and reflux. And it hasn't been pretty, and I haven't noticed that it's affected by certain foods. It's just, it can happen any time of the day. It can happen when I don't eat as well, and it's really uncomfortable. And I also have this like really bad burning sensation in the back of my throat, and it's just nothing I can do can take it away. And I haven't taken any sort of supplements or medication for it. I should have asked today whether I can do that, but if I can get through my pregnancy without needing to take a lot of medication or, different things like that, I'd rather stick it out. The last thing that we talked about at my obstetrician appointment was the fact that I've also still been continuing to experience heart palpitations and extreme shortness of breath. This was a little bit of a concern for me because I don't want there to be any serious issues with my heart, but my obstetrician did inform me that it's actually can be quite common in pregnancy because your heart is like obviously working for two. So it can it can feel like it's working really hard, and it doesn't last for long. It may last for like 30 seconds or so, and then it just sorts itself out. I don't notice it when I'm active. I just noticed it when I'm at rest. However, she did say between now and my next appointment in 4 weeks, to next time I have an attack or I notice my heart is like really pumping and really working, to monitor my pulse and then keep count how many beats per minute, because if it is quite high I might need to see a cardiologist. So fingers crossed I don't. It's just one of those things that pregnancy brings. And the shortness of breath is sort of like, well, you're pregnant and you have a baby squishing your chest and your lungs, and there's nothing you can do about it. So my symptoms are that my terrible morning sickness is making a return. That's a bit of an exaggeration. It is nowhere near as bad as what it was in my first trimester. Thank God. I would die, honestly, if I had to experience it all day like I did, if I had to throw up. I couldn't handle it. So it's just it's mild, I would say, because it's not all day. It's just at some points in the day I feel really nauseous and I don't want to do a thing, and then it vanishes. So I can't really complain about it. I'm just happy it's not an all day thing where I'm constantly throwing up. Aches and pains. This is just part of pregnancy, but doesn't it just suck? It is difficult to deal with sometimes, and I find that as the day goes on I just get so sore. Like my ankles are like painful, my knees hurt, I have a knee injury that hurts even more, I have a back injury so my back is always aching, my hips hurt. Yeah, it's not pleasant, and the worst part is like sometimes when I'm laying in bed I have really restless legs. I'm just so uncomfortable that I have shocking sleeps. I'm just so disturbed. I hate it. Like, let's be honest, it's not pleasant. So what I do is I just try and relax, and whether that's my partner giving me a massage, which I'm so grateful every time he does it, which is most nights. I think I'm a bit spoiled. Or getting like my heat pack, so the ones with the wheat in it, and just putting them on the parts of my body that are aching, and that's usually my back and my hips, or my ankles, which is just it's the other thing to go along with restless legs and aching body is that lately I've been experiencing leg cramps. And I will wake up in the middle of the night, like freaking out and screaming, and just nothing I can do. Like I just have to wait for it to pass, and I try and stretch and all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think those things are just going to keep continuing until after baby's here. So the last thing I wanted to touch on today was things I'm excited for. Not that this one is baby related, but I feel like I need to share it with you. Is that this Sunday my partner Ollie and I are going to see the musical Aladdin, and I am so excited for it. I've been waiting for this freaking show to come out to Australia for a long time, and I'm really excited to have like date night. Okay, so baby related things that I'm excited for are next Wednesday we start our antenatal classes, and they're every Wednesday from 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. at our hospital for the next 5 weeks, and they cover a whole heap of topics. I think I've previously touched on them in probably maybe my 12-week one, I don't know, but I'll talk to you guys next in my update as to what I learned and different things like that. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to make it feel so much more real. And I hope we get to play with little baby dolls and we get to swaddle them and put nappies on them. Honestly, I haven't played with a baby doll in so long. I'm so excited for this. Obviously, I'm very excited about finishing the second trimester and going into the third trimester, which is at 28 weeks. So that is so exciting. I'm I'm just excited in general. I can't help myself. I keep telling everyone, oh, I only have this many weeks to go, but I'm excited for the whole labor and delivery experience. I'm not intimidated by the pain. I welcome it. I'm happy to be completely medicated if that's what it takes, but I just am enjoying where I am, and I'm excited for what's to come. And lastly, the last thing I'm excited for is that my partner and I are planning our little baby moon, so a little getaway before baby arrives. We're planning to go most likely in November because I don't want to go in December, which is when I'm full term. I kind of want to stay home most of the time in December, or close to home, or at least in Sydney. So I'll keep you updated with where we plan to go, but I hope it's somewhere sunny and warm and they have a pool and I can float and I can just be pregnant in a swimming costume. So this is my bump shots for 26 weeks. Excuse the little shorts, they're my pajamas. I'm just at home, why not be comfortable? This is my little, well, not so little I should say, baby bump for 26 weeks. From the side. What does it look like? So this is the other side. This is my not so little and very rounded bump for 26 weeks. I've noticed such a huge difference with how it feels up the top. It definitely is feeling a lot higher, and the bottom part of my belly is a lot more pronounced and very much rounded. I'm also noticing my little round line is continuing to grow, and my poor little belly button is getting so stretched out. See, I swear it's so much like different since my last update. This is from the other side. So that's it, guys. That is my 26-week update. Definitely subscribe and stay tuned for my gestational diabetes glucose test video. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but that will definitely be coming out soon. And subscribe for other things, whether that's exercise videos. If you do want to see exercise videos and what I'm doing as part of my fitness regime, let me know in the comments below, or send me an email or whatever. Tweet me. Whatever you feel like doing, you can do, and I'll be happy to try and make those videos for you guys because I think that will be fun to connect with everyone. Check out my blog for my pregnancy Q&A as always, plus some photos and bump shots and all that goodness. But until my next video, I hope you guys have a wonderful week and you're having a great day.